This video segment regards intensive strategies, the three that you've just read in your module reading: market penetration and development, and product development. The purpose of this video is to give you practical working examples of companies who are following each of these strategies and some reasons that they're doing so. The first is market penetration. Market penetration, simply stated, is being advertising intense, spending a lot of money trying to promote your brand or reposition your brand in the current market. And what better place to look at who's spending all the money than Advertising Age, who does global marketing surveys every year on who's spending how much money. And it just so happened the most current data put out by Advertising Age is that Coca-Cola is by far the world's largest spender of advertising and marketing dollars. They spent nearly $3 billion in 2009, which is an astounding amount when you consider that the next closest spender was Abbott Laboratories, and they outspent Abbott by a 4-to-1 ratio. So it's a pretty significant amount of money that Coke is spending in advertising, and advertising is, in essence, market penetration. And you should probably ask yourself, what did they spend all their money on? Maybe you didn't get it or didn't see it, and it was kind of transparent in a way. They snuck this in on us, but they changed the logo of their brand. That took a lot of money for them to do so. And now Coca-Cola's mantra is open happiness. And they spent a lot of money on Olympics in 2009 in advertising, and a lot of money in the 2010 Super Bowl, and will spend more money on next year's Super Bowl, in addition to all the other advertising that goes along with all the other Coca-Cola products. They were very advertising intense. So why would they pursue it? Companies that pursue the intensive strategy of market penetration do so to try to increase market share. And market share is the name of the game in beverages, especially in the Coke and Pepsi industry, and who compete head-to-head. It makes sense when current markets are not saturated. Well, the United States is certainly not saturated with cola, Sprite, energy drinks, iced coffee, etc. A lot of the market is still up for grabs, and Coke and Pepsi are fighting for that market share. In their eyes, it's clearly not saturated, and people can be drinking a lot more cola or juice or smoothie or bottled water, all of which are products that Coca-Cola sells. A second major reason is that the usage rate of current customers could be increased. The average person in the United States drinks a milliliter or two of Coca-Cola beverages on a daily basis, whether they know it or not, average American. In Coke's eyes, this could increase to 3 or 4 milliliters of one of their beverages, whether it's a Coke, a Diet Coke, a smoothie, some juice, water. To Coke, it doesn't matter. As long as it's Coke branded, it helps that organization out. The third one I'll kind of skip, but the fourth, as it relates to Coca-Cola, is that there is a truism in the marketing for cola business or for bottled beverages business, is that there is a very strong relationship between marketing, how much money they spend on marketing, and how much money they will get on their sales dollars. There's a very direct and very strong relationship with this, and this is why Coke and Pepsi spend so much money, constantly battling it out in the advertising wars arena. The second strategy is that of market development. And market development, simply stated, is offering what you currently sell, your present products, but just finding new markets for them. And we talked about Rolling Rock beer some time ago in this course. But Starbucks, as you may or may not know, plans its biggest expansion going forward into China, into India, into Vietnam, where it doesn't even have a presence yet, especially India and Vietnam. It does have a small presence in China, but as you can see from this clipping from a Wall Street Journal article, they plan to open thousands of stores in China over time. This is truly market development, taking a current product, Starbucks coffee and lattes, etc., and moving them into a new market, a market that has arguably many more people than that which there are in the United States. Why would Starbucks do this? Again, the definition for market development is taking a current product, putting it into a new geographic area, and this geographic area of China, India, and Vietnam is clearly a new area for, or new territory for, Starbucks. It makes sense when new distribution channels are available. Let me explain that. They certainly are available in so much as that it really takes relatively little capital for a company the size of Starbucks to open up a Starbucks store. It could be a kiosk, it could be a small bricks and mortar store, but in the context of a large company like Starbucks, opening up a new Starbucks really takes relatively little capital. Maybe even more importantly than that, they can open these stores through joint ventures, which you'll remember is bringing in a partner, or through franchising with someone who's buying a franchise of the organization. It makes sense when the organization is already successful in its current market, that being the United States, and it's clearly number one. And it also makes a lot of sense when untapped markets exist. Clearly there's a need or a desire for Starbucks coffee in China. Starbucks is there in a big way. Starbucks is increasing its presence in China, where it's also very desirable. It's also important to note that in the United States, they have a recent record of closing a number of stores because they feel that they have oversaturated certain parts of the United States. So to increase productivity or same-store sales, they've actually retrenched or reeled back some of the stores that are in the United States. Their current focus going forward is on a different country. The third of the intensive strategies is that of product development. And the simple definition of product development is that when a company modifies its current products, maybe it's new and improved, but usually it's a lot more than that. And you don't have to look any further than the recent offerings of the iPad, Apple's new Series 4 iPhone. This is product development. This is a variant in a very big way of the iTouch. It just does it in a much bigger and grander way than what the iTouch does, and this is now very, very easily usable for books, movies, etc. Product development, as I had mentioned just a moment ago, is improving or modifying a present product. It makes sense when products are in a maturity stage of the product life cycle, which means that they're kind of hitting a peak or kind of hitting diminishing returns. The iTouch has been on the market for a couple of years, and in its first couple of years there was tremendous growth in sales for the iTouch from quarter to quarter to quarter, and now in the United States anyhow it's kind of leveling off a little bit as a lot of early adopters have purchased the iTouch. And so what's Apple going to do next? Well, they've just changed their product or offered a variant of that might appeal to new early adopters and therefore find a new product with a steep growth curve. An organization would also pursue product development when they have an industry that's characterized by a rapid pace of change in technology. And the markets that Apple competes in, whether it be MP3 players, or movie delivery, or the reading of textbooks electronically, this industry changes almost monthly with respect to technology that's available. And then I'll skip the third one, but the fourth one that makes a lot of sense for product development and for Apple to pursue, it makes sense when a company has a very strong presence in research and development, and I can't think of one that has a stronger presence in the current day than does Apple.